Most goal setting in health and fitness, it's built around getting something. Wouldn't you agree? Get the body, get the weight off, get your energy back, get to the finish line. And there's nothing wrong with those things, or at least when wanting those things. The problem shows up in how that mindset shapes the whole journey. So when the whole point is to get somewhere, and I've been there, I've been wanting to get somewhere, right? I want to lose this weight or I want to get more energy. Well, when the whole point to get something, everything between here and there, it starts feeling like this big obstacle, or at least a delay. Progress feels slow. I mean, the setbacks, those feel devastating, right? Creates those start and stop moments. And the moment you arrive at the goal, hopefully you get to the goal, the whole thing deflates because the getting is done. So could there be a different way to look at it? I think there is, because looking at it differently changes the experience of the whole journey. This is the shift that I needed to make to continue my journey instead of the start-stop cycle. A goal is something you grow into. Every workout, every better choice, every hard week that you push through, it's building something inside you that the number on the scale or the size on a tag, that will never fully capture. So today I want to talk to you about what shifts when you stop trying to get and, at least get to a destination and you start focusing on who you're becoming along the way. And before we get into all this great stuff, I'm going to say it. If your health goals have started feeling more like a burden than a direction, I encourage you head over to talktoperry.com. If you're watching on the video version, popping it right there on the lower third, really easy to remember, talktoperry.com, and let's reframe what you're actually working toward. So here's what I've actually watched happen when people who chase getting, they hit the goal and they feel good for a while. Then the habits that got them there, they start slipping because the motivation that was really tied to that destination, it starts to fade away. And once you arrive at the destination or the engine that got you there, it runs out of fuel. The weight sneaks back on, the routines fall apart, and you find yourself starting over again and wondering why it never stuck. So this is a big aha for me because I accomplished a big thing. I finished a 90-day plan, and I had never accomplished anything like that before. Now you might be chuckling and saying, oh my gosh, only 90 days. It's just 3 months, big deal. But I had never done that. I kept promising I would be one who started my workout, one who would when I set a goal, I was going to get there. Yet over and over and over again, I would make myself false promises when it came to health and fitness. I would dabble, and then I'd find a crack and a flaw in the program or my plan, or I'd get off track, and then I would drift off course. I'd never really quit. I just would drift off course. So I finished 90 days. I lost like 32 pounds, was feeling great. Clothing was feeling amazing. Energy was high. And I started to adopt this mindset of maintenance mode. And so I was like, well, now I don't have to exercise as hard. I've already gotten here. I've reached my goal. And that's where sneaky habits came in. That's where I kind of got lax on the workouts. And it was just like, oh my gosh, I reached my goal and I'm starting to gain the weight back. What's the deal? Why didn't the habits stick? The goal was never really the problem. The frame around it was. Getting is finite. So I was getting to my 90 days. I got it. Hopefully everything stuck. Growing is not finite. Growing, you keep going. And I didn't realize I wasn't doing any growing during that process. I was just hoping to get to the 90 days. So a goal built around growth, it doesn't have an expiration date. And so that's where I kind of halted and I said, what if I just kept going and enjoyed the journey along the way from here on out? Ooh, I didn't put a deadline on there. Now, I'm a big fan of 30-day goals. So instead of saying at the end of 30 days, I am done, I would look at 30 days and say, the next 30 days, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to figure out things along the way to continue from here on out on ways that it'll improve my life. Or if there were things I was questioning, I'm like, will this really matter? I would use those 30 days to figure things out. For instance, would drinking more water help me out? Would eating vegetables when I despised them all my life help me out? Would adding yoga into my routine help me out? I don't know. Let's figure it out. And so I would do these things. Yes was to all of them. But I kept growing and it kept helping. When you shift the frame from getting to growing, something changes in you. You still experience hard days, but a tough week, it no longer becomes this obstacle between you and the result. It's just the thing that's building your capacity, your resilience, your relationship with yourself. You start paying attention to the journey instead of going and saying, oh my gosh, I can't do this. And I stepped on the scale today and I thought I did exercise and I thought I would lose 5 pounds and I gained 2, The struggle has a purpose behind the outcome. And the purpose keeps that journey, so it makes it worth showing up way longer after your motivation has faded. You still show up. And that was the big thing for me. I'm like, what if I stopped looking at, hey, I've got to hit a special benchmark on the scale, and just kept enjoying this journey and just seeing where this continues to go? Growth also changes how you measure progress. So when your goal is to get, when it's to get something, progress is usually measured pounds, inches, numbers on this, you know what the tracking stuff is, right? But when your goal is to grow, your progress just looks different. It shows up. It's like showing up and getting your workout done when you didn't feel like it. Making a healthier choice at a restaurant when you're like, oh my gosh, everybody else is ordering fast food, but I'm going to still stay on track. And when it felt like in a hard moment, or when you were busy at work and it really felt compelling to just go hit drive-through, but you chose to make a healthier meal instead. Even the conversations that you have with yourself, they start to get more honest and more encouraging over time instead of beating yourself up. Those things don't always show up on a scale, but they show up in your life, in your energy, how you carry yourself, where the confidence is coming from. Knowing that you are someone who keeps your word to yourself, that's amazing. And we'll tell ourselves we keep our words to ourselves, yet we break our promises all the time, right? But if you're out there growing, oh my gosh, you're building this all these wins. A get goal asks, how far am I from the finish line? A grow goal asks, who am I becoming here along the way? So just that second question there, it keeps you engaged with the journey on the way, where the first one is so easy to drop off track. So the goal was never the destination. Many of us, we've kind of been programmed that way. We've grown up that way. It's not the destination. It's always the person that you're becoming on the way there. And that's where you'll start to see opportunities open for yourself. So start paying attention to the person and the journey. It gets you there, and it's a whole lot more worth it, and what's out there showing up for you. You've got this, my friend. I look forward to hearing what your top takeaway from this podcast is today. Drop those down in the comments. I promise I will reply. You absolutely rock, my friend. And as always, remember, it's never too late. We'll see you next week. That's another Power Blast podcast in the books. Thanks so much for tuning in. And remember, when you are ready to recharge your battery, make sure you go to talktoperry.com. That's talktoperry.com. That's Perry. And I want to listen. I want to hear, what's going on. I want to help you in that 15-minute call to recharge your battery and reclaim your power so that you're off and running and creating massive momentum toward your dream. Also, every day I am delivering more motivation, support, tips, and strategies inside my free community with amazing people like yourself. And we are conquering the mindset and the fitness I do 52 weeks of free training in there. Plus, I coach and I mentor people, as well as give you access to tons of resources and guides. It's called my Upside Down Fitness community because we work on a lot of mindset stuff, the inside stuff, and we're a fun group of people striving to make healthier habits in this awesome chapter of life. So make sure you get in there. I promise you'll absolutely love it. Just head over to upsidedownfit.com and you can get into the group. And hey, you would be an awesome friend if you get over to iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcast and leave an honest rating and review for the Power Blast podcast. It helps awesome people like you find the show even faster, and that's who I'm looking for, awesome people like you. That's all I have for this week, my friend, and just to let you know, you absolutely rock. That's all I have for this week. I'll see you on the next Power Blast podcast, and always remember, it's never too late. We'll see you next week.